have the captions now available. Next slide, please.
Okay.
These are my favorite meetings of the year. I say that every time because they are. This is our chance to work with you. So we appreciate your feedback. I actually just finished a meeting from an earlier home-based meetup we had that concerned me a little bit. So we got the vendor and the PSU working together to try to solve the problem. So I think these are very beneficial to help us work best for you. Next slide, please. 2 home-based meetups left. We have Canvas tomorrow and Go Open. I know all of you wear many hats, so please attend when you can. Next slide, please. And this is our schedule for next year. If you have not seen this, please get these dates down because we are going to do 2 virtual sessions, one in July and one in February. And then we're going to get out. We're going to get out to the state in September, November, and May. We are going to actually start to go out there and visit you all again. We are very excited to do that. We missed that. We hated the fact that we couldn't do it this year, but we're looking forward to doing it in the upcoming school year. So please record those dates. Next slide, please. There are the slide deck, and Audrey will add her slide deck, and then you will have all of them. Next slide, please. There's all our hashtags, call signs, Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media is out there, we have it. Please make sure you're following us on Facebook to follow our Did You Know series and on Instagram as well. Next slide. And this is our great team here to help you. As you can see, many of them are on this call. We are very glad to be here to help you and provide you with the best digital resources to put in North Carolina classrooms. Audrey, thank you very much, and I will turn it over to you. And Audrey, I appreciate you for what you do with learning.com.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. Okay, hold on. Okay, so let me just answer my team. When I want to go back to mine, what do I do? Just stop. Okay.
So guys, you should have access to the slides. I think there comes a little window up that you have to click to get to the slides.
Yeah, hold on. Okay, oh, wait a minute. Okay, welcome everyone. Again, my name is Audrey Long and I'm with DPI. And I'm the program manager for learning.com. Here is the URL for the slides for learning.com for this month.
Audrey, will you hit present so it goes full screen for them?
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And here is the slides for the, the bit.ly for the slides for learning.com. And we'll put that in the chat for you.
Okay, I just updated it again, and I hope that helped this time.
Say what now?
I just updated the share link again.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes, they're saying it's working. Okay.
Okay, good.
Sorry to interrupt, Audrey.
No problem. Okay. Wait a minute, I'm having some. Okay, here we go. And this is the agenda. Hold on, my system is timing for a little bit. Okay, this is our agenda for today. First, we'll go over the introductions, and we had the opening slides, and I want to thank Rob again for doing that. So we had the introductions, then we have the updates for DTL, Homebase, and Learning.com. Tier 1 highlights, and we want to welcome Cumberland County and Duplin County schools, and we appreciate your input today. And then we have a demo by Tiffany with the new features and updates. And then Tiffany will also provide training, which will enable you to get 1 CEU. Tiffany's going to go over reporting, summer learning, and networking. And again, I'm Audrey Long, and I want to welcome everybody tonight. This afternoon. And we have Brian Rose with us, who's the Senior VP for Learning.com. And also we welcome back Tiffany Kinney, who's the State Program Manager for Learning.com. And Rob has gone over the purpose for home-based meetups, again, to foster positive, productive field-based relationships, communicate product-specific information for charters and LEAs, elicit feedback from the field, provide a collaborative time, problem-solving, networking, and again, to provide coordination between different DPI-based groups that serve end users of home-based products. And now we're going to discuss the 2021 and 22 funding for Learning.com. This is the projected date. This is the information that we currently have. And I just want to reiterate, please watch out, go to this site. You can go to this site to pull up the allotment policy, the current allotment policy for 2021 and 2022. The projected amount is at least $750 per estimated K-8 student licenses requested. And this is all based on a proportional distribution of available funds, and it could be larger just depending on the number of districts signing for local contracts. The contract period, contact the state vendors summer, fall 2021 contract to use funds allocated for student licenses for the 2021-22 school year. Those who are eligible are the LEAs, charter schools, and ISD schools within economically distressed counties. They are considered Tier 1. That have executed local convenience contracts based on the K-8 Digital Literacy Solutions statewide cooperative purchasing agreement. The convenience contract, the pricing is $750 per student or $3,200 per site license. The contract period is also again 21 to 22 school year. And those who are eligible for the convenience contract are non-Tier 1 districts. The allowable use of the funds. The funds can be used, should only be used for software licenses from the vendor selected via the competitive procurement process. Use of funds is subject to audit to ensure that purchase licenses are utilized by the public school unit. Unutilized purchase licenses are subject to a refund to the state. Allocations that are not expended for licenses by November the 30th of the fiscal year shall revert to DPI and utilized for implementation of the state's digital learning plan. Funds for charter schools shall be allotted in PRC 036 and for ISD in PRC 044. And I also wanted to mention that the funds for Tier 1 are allotted in the PRC 078. Funds for the renewal school system, if eligible, shall be allotted in PRC 037, and funds are not eligible for carryover. Again, please review the allotment policy manual. Again, it's on our site, and it will give you the information, the detailed information for 21, 22, and any changes that are made in the upcoming month or months will be also, that the site will be updated for your convenience. This is the map currently of the current Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3. As you can see, those in the light colors are the current districts for Tier 1. And right now, we currently have 40 schools in the Tier 1 district. Our new Tier 1s are Alexander, Burke, Cherokee, Polk, Randolph, and Rowan. Those we have currently 5 Tier 1s that have transferred over to new tiers, and that is Beaufort, Jones, Onslow, Perquimans, and Pitt. The Learning.com subscriptions are typically 12 months, renewing on July the 1st. Student licenses will remain active over the summer as well. We will be sending out a Tier 1 intent survey in the next week or so, preferably in the next week. And I just want to reiterate how important it is for you to complete the intent survey, because you will be, your funding is determined by how you complete the survey. So my suggestion is to give your best estimate as to how many licenses that you will need, because we really want to make sure that we ensure equitable access for all students. So, like I said, please be on the lookout for the intent survey because it will be coming soon. And again, this will determine how much funding your district will receive is based specifically solely on this survey. Once you get the survey, you will have a 2-week turnaround time to respond and to send it back. So you, like I say, you will be getting more information in the next week about the intent survey, and we will be keeping you posted as to when it's time, when the deadline is vastly approaching for
And
you to turn it in.
Audrey, let me jump in there real quick.
Okay.
I'm not sure that we have done, in my conversations with learning.com,
Mhm.
I'm not sure that we have done an adequate job. And I want to make sure you guys understand you have those licenses for 12 months, correct? So you can use them over the summer. And I don't know if Tiffany or Brian want to jump in there to explain that a little bit more, or if it needs more explanation, but I just want to make sure you guys are aware of that because I'm not sure I was aware of that fact.
Okay.
Yes, that's correct. Thank you, Rob. And thank you, Audrey. That's right. Student licenses, they do remain active through the summer. And so just know that your students can continue to work through our digital literacy skills curriculum, or if they're working through Tech Quest, if you have maybe summer school going on, they can work at that. They can work at it at home as well. So yes, they remain active. They're not going to be they're not going to be, turned off over the summer, so don't worry about that. So again, if you want to use those during summer school or your students need to practice, let's say, keyboarding at home, they will be active, and your teachers will be able to access all the curriculum in Easy Tech as well. That's accurate.
Okay. Okay, so now I'll turn it over to Tiffany. Tiffany, did you want me to assign you so you could be host as well?
Yes, I need to
Okay.
just share my screen.
Okay, hold on.
And while she's doing that, does anyone have any, I guess, questions for Audrey or Rob before we move on about funding while she's switching that up? Or funding for the next school year, the 2021-22 school year.
Okay. There you are, Tiffany.
Okay, perfect.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Tiffany, I had a question. I put it in the chat, but what happens after EOY? So if we're provisioned through Power School, do kids get moved into their next classes? If it's teacher driven with the assignment of curriculum, do they just don't have any at that point because they've moved to another teacher in another grade level?
So yes, your enrollments will be whatever's in. I'm sorry, I didn't see your question in the chat.
That's okay.
Your enrollments will be driven, of course, by what classes by their schedules in Power School. Okay, so I am going to go over, Jody, just a little later in this presentation, things to consider when we're transitioning school years. So you may want to put a pin in that because we're going to come back to that. Is that okay?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay.
No
Okay.
problem.
Because we are going to
If I
talk
say
about
no,
that.
that's not okay, Tiffany. You got to do it right now. No, but that's fine. That's fine. We
Yeah,
can wait.
we're going to talk about
We-
that and things to consider as we're moving on to the next school year.
We
Okay,
just want to make
sounds
sure
good.
you're happy, Jody.
Yeah, there was a long pause there. So
No, I couldn't get my mute button kept popping in and out, so I couldn't quite get on it. So, all right, that's fine. Thanks, y'all.
okay. Any other questions regarding learning.com, how you can use it through the summer? We're also going to be talking about summer learning programs coming up and any kind of funding questions that need to go to DPI before we move on. Okay, I don't think so. All right, so let's move on. So this is just a gentle reminder for you guys. Oh, by the way, thanks for welcoming me back. I forgot to say hello. So there might be some new people on the line. I'm Tiffany Kinney, State Program Manager for Learning.com, and I am just returning I'm about a month into it now, back from maternity leave. So it's good to be back and see some familiar faces and also some new faces. And just also want to thank our partners at DPI for allowing us to present with them today. And then, of course, you saw that we do have Cumberland County Schools. Jody Holly will be presenting in just a few minutes, and also Duplin County Schools. And that's Lindsay and Jan that's going to share their learning.com journey with us. So thank you to you guys, and thank you for taking your time to attend today. All right, so professional development. I just wanted to again gently remind you that we do offer customized training to support your district technology plans. And we're also updating our professional development menu, if you will, for the upcoming school year. But just keep in mind that any kind of professional development you need is at no extra cost. This is all included in the learning.com subscription. So if you have some PD needs, maybe you have a district-wide PD day that's coming. I know we've attended those in the past, even either virtually or in person, but just wanted to let you know that all that professional development you need. Maybe you need a refresher on your Easy Tech curriculum. Maybe your teachers need just a short training on TechQuest. We can basically do it all. You would just need to reach out to me, and we would have just a little pre-planning meeting and decide from there what exactly do your educators need as far as training moving forward. So please don't hesitate. I know a lot of you have probably started making your plans or have already made your plans starting this summer with what professional development is going to look like. And the sooner the better. And so if you need us through the summer, just let us know. I just want to let you know that is all included in your learning.com subscription. And I also put time commitment. I've had some questions come in about, well, how long are these trainings? Well, usually they're about from 45 minutes to 2 hours. And we have been doing them, of course, offering them virtually this year. Hopefully one day soon we'll move back to face-to-face trainings, but we have been all virtual for over a year now. So just some things to keep in mind, and some requests I've had come in. They may range in from, like I said, TechQuest. Our teachers only want to use TechQuest. We need a short training video on that, which we are updating our online training center that will include that coming soon. But also keep in mind, like your North Carolina digital learning standards. I've had people say, can you really show my teachers how to look up those standards, how to assign curriculum based on those standards, and we can do that as well. So just want to throw those options out for you, but if you have any PD needs, please reach out, and we'll get started planning for this coming school year. Okay. So now you should be seeing the usage. Wanted to happily share the usage that we've seen, and this is going to be for year-over-year usage. And I think everybody that has participated in learning.com the past couple years, you deserve definitely a pat on the back. So do that right now. You guys are doing so well. And this data is pretty current. As of 4/18 right now, you can see our numbers, and I've tried to show both this year and last year. So our engaged numbers are over 22,000 22,500 students. And the engaged students, just to go over what these categories mean, are the number of students that have logged in to learning.com. So they're utilizing our learning.com curriculum. This is not the total number of licenses. This is really those students that have logged in and used learning.com. Okay. So this year we're over 22,000. Last year we were almost at 15,000. So great work and progress on that. And then total launches is also up by 119,000 up. And total launches mean that these are the total number of curriculum items that students have launched in the platform. So every time that's the item is launched, it counts towards that total launch number. Okay. So good work on that. We are over 377,000. And then launches per user. So launches per user, this is the average number of launches per user, so per student, per user in the system. So we're at 19.58, and so that is a gain this year of 2.24. So just wanted to let you guys see that growth. We're very proud of this growth. Your educators are really doing a great job, especially after the challenging year we've had with the pandemic, some being in hybrid, some having all virtual learning this year, some just returning back to the classroom within the past month. So I think this is something to be celebrated, especially with the kind of challenges we've had over the school year. And then a little more, just a visual for you. And I know this was also shared, I think in the last home-based meetup, it's just where you can see the launches by content area. And so at the very top, you can see that online safety and digital citizenship, that is our top skill area that has been launched, followed by keyboarding, computer fundamentals, and it goes down from there, business apps, common sense, and computational thinking and coding. So just wanted you to be able to see a visual of that and see that our top 3 skill areas are still online safety, keyboarding, and computer fundamentals. I think those have been holding pretty strong, and that makes a lot of sense too, especially those districts that have been utilizing TechQuest. We've had a lot of districts in not only North Carolina, but across our nation that has been using TechQuest, and they do start with online safety and digital citizenship. So that would help those launches as well. Any questions about usage? Okay. All right. So now I have the pleasure of introducing a couple of our district leaders, and I see Jody is now on her camera. So hey, Jody, I see you. And we are going to pause here and let Jody Hawley from Cumberland County Schools, and she's the Executive Director of Instructional Technology and Media Services, and share about their learning.com journey, because it's quite unique, I feel like. And so she has graciously volunteered to share. And so, Jody, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we can hear you. And I'm going to go back on mute while you're speaking.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Like Tiffany said, we did have a bit of a unique situation in Cumberland. We, in the 2019 school year, we piloted learning.com at one middle school and one elementary school. Went very well. So at the end of last school year, during our emergency closure time, when we started getting information from DPI, none of us really knew what the next school year would hold. So we didn't know how many licenses we should ask for. So we kind of just went through our low performing schools. We were opening 2 virtual academies over the summer that would be new schools in Cumberland. And so we kind of just pick a number based on which schools we thought we'd bring into this rollout for learning.com. When we started the school year, we were all virtual. Everybody's in remote learning. And Cumberland was not one-to-one before summer of last year and fall of last year, and we did not have an LMS. So we were knee-deep in launching a one-to-one, which was a 3-year rollout that happened in about 60 days. And then also Canvas. We rolled out Canvas. And that was about a 45-day rollout. I think we paid and got everything lined up middle of July, and our teachers began using Canvas August 4th to get ready for the start of the school year. So it was very fast-paced. I know this was probably the same in your district, similar. Also, all of our textbooks went online. So not only were our kids now 100% remote, all of their learning materials were online. And so we did not launch learning.com in the fall as we had originally planned. We had too many things going on, and it was probably October before things settled down. And so we actually began training our teachers in late January, early February. We launched learning.com with our CTE students in 6th grade. They launched first, and they used the teacher assigned curriculum. And then a few weeks later, we started working with our elementary schools, and we actually used our media coordinators because we didn't want to add another product onto the plates of our teachers. But we wanted to go ahead and get them ready. Our students did not return to an in-person option until March 15th. Okay, so the bulk of our usage has happened since March 15th. And you can see on the slide, we were at 12,882 launches March 1st, and we are now over 44,000 launches just in the last 5 weeks. So our folks absolutely love this product. Our little ones, I have 3 primary schools, K1, their students are using it every day. So if you're a little worried about the little ones, they've jumped right in and they love it. The kids are asking if they can use it at home. In our district, we have Wellness Wednesdays. So everyone's on remote, including employees on Wednesdays while they clean our schools and our buildings. So a lot of our schools are now using learning.com as an asynchronous assignment, for students to get 30 minutes of work during their Wellness Wednesday, working from home. So that's kind of been helpful to have that Wednesday. But they also use it in the building. It's being used in our elementary grades for media and computer resource time. And then our CTE teachers are using it with their 6th grade. So that's kind of how it's working in Cumberland. I will say, as I asked around the kids, they just like TechQuest. They like the gamification. They love the interaction. And then the teachers, because it's TechQuest is what we did with our elementary schools, it really didn't require anything of the teachers other than pointing the kids into TechQuest. We made our media coordinators the school coordinators so they could watch the classes and push as they needed to push or help as they needed to help. And that's worked well for us. I regret that we have such a short time to use it this year. But I do plan, mainly because Cumberland, we muddled through our one-to-one. Kids didn't have a lot of digital literacy support until we started using learning.com this year. And of all years and at all times, I don't see a sense of urgency greater than I do right now. So our plan in Cumberland will be to extend our licenses for all K-8 with the plan to use TechQuest in the elementary schools for their media and computer resource. And then also with our CTE classes, the teacher assigned curriculum along with TechQuest in our middle schools. So that is kind of what's happened in Cumberland. I will say I was hesitant to launch this as the first thing when they walk in the door, but the integration, the provisioning with PowerSchool we went through Clever, super easy. If you haven't gotten involved in that process, super easy. All we had to do was point the kids to the Clever icon in Rapid Identity, and they were automatically enrolled. So they didn't have to learn a new login. We decided to go that route. I know there are different ways to access, but that has been the easiest, probably one of the easiest. We had a little glitch in the beginning with Clever getting everything situated, but once we got that done, it's been super easy. So for us, that worked well for Cumberland. And like I said, I don't think there's a better time. If you're not using your media specialist, they're a great resource. Ours in Cumberland, you know, they do so much with digital citizenship anyway, and information skills is part of their curriculum. They just seem like the right people to tag in to lead this in our schools. So if anyone has any questions, I am happy to answer. Let me just make sure I didn't leave out anything from my notes. But like I said, we're using it in 3 primary schools that are just K-1, and then we're using it in, I think, 12 elementary schools and 8 middle schools, I believe is how ours, I think we have 20 total schools using learning.com right now. I know that's a whirlwind. Yeah. Is there anything, Tiffany, that I left out that I need to say?
I was gonna just say thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I mean, Jody's correct. When we started, we actually started planning back in the fall, and they really wanted to get this launch, but there was a lot of challenges in place, and so. And I kept telling Jody, I said, it's really okay. You start when you guys are ready, because they didn't want to throw anything more on the teachers' plates. And I totally understand that, being a former teacher. But I'm just so happy to hear that things have worked out pretty seamlessly, it seems like. And, you know, these numbers are just something to be celebrated, you know, going just as of March, right? From 12,000 to over 44,000. So, and I just told Jody and her team, because we met again, I said, you guys start when you're ready. I think I met with y'all right before I went on maternity leave in December. I said, you guys let me know when y'all are ready. We'll train your teachers. And they had their CTE teachers trained, and then their elementary teachers trained. We separated those trainings out because they had 2 different focuses with TechQuest versus assigning curriculum. So yeah, that was great, Jody. I don't think you left anything else out. Does anyone have any questions for Jody? And thank you again for sharing.
Yes, and Tiffany, you remember when you were getting ready to go on maternity leave, we had a tentative start date in Cumberland for January.
We
and
did.
then our board voted and moved us to March. So it was like we were all ready to start everything in January, not just learning.com. It was like, okay,
right.
We're finally getting to start. And then we got moved again to
yes.
March. So
yes.
We're happy to be in session, y'all. I'm sure you are too. And I just appreciate all the support, because while Tiffany was out, other folks jumped in and helped us to get started. So thankful for learning.com and the support we've had. Don't be afraid to ask for special things, because, you know, sometimes when you get in a jam, you've got to reach out, and Tiffany knows, and I'm sure Rob knows if he's still on. We all have special circumstances, and they really did step up and fit the needs for Cumberland. So for that, I'm thankful.
And I wanted to just say thank you, Jody, for sharing that information with us. It's good to know that you all had such a smooth transition into learning.com, and especially, you know, knowing that the younger ones, like the kindergartens, that they didn't have any problem at all. So I really do appreciate you sharing that with us today.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, that was great that you shared with your littles, as I call them, because you know, we often do hear about that hesitation, right? How will they do with this program? And I know back in February, Brian shared in home-based meetups about the new K2 content that we have in computer fundamentals with pointer devices um, and more lessons. So thank you. So we have more content there for them, and just good to hear that your littles are using as well, not just your, you know, your middle school and upper elementary. So thank you. All right. So if we don't have any questions, I don't see the chat. We'll move on to Duplin County Schools. And from Duplin County Schools, we have both Lindsay and also Jan, and they are with Digital Teaching and Learning. They're both digital teaching and learning specialists. And I will hand it over to Lindsay and Jan to share from Duplin County Schools, which has had a different experience. They have been with us since year one. So if you'll go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, thank you, Tiffany. Hello, everybody. I am Lindsay Skidmore. It's nice to be here. And we are so thankful for learning.com and the Tier 1 funding. So I'm very excited to hear that Tier 1 funding is going to carry through 2022. Originally, when we first started with learning.com, we weren't real sure. We were learning about it, it's, you know, the program and the platform itself, and we were kind of concerned about the sustainability of it. So when we first rolled out that first year, we did a slow rollout and really targeted our early adopters throughout our district to give it a try. We knew there was a perfect correlation with our CTE program, and so we focused on providing professional development to all of our CTE teachers, the computer resource teachers, and really our digital learning and media coordinators at the school. And we were lucky during that time. We had those teachers started to roll it out and use it in the classroom, those early adopters, and they were giving us the feedback just how valuable it was. With us is Jan. She has joined our team this year, and she actually was one of those early adopters. So I'm going to let Jan talk a little bit about how they're using it in CTE in the K-5 resource.
Hey everybody, my name is Jan Houston. This is my first year in this position. Before this year, I was actually a middle school CTE business teacher. So I had some experience with learning.com before this. I will say though, I was kind of in a routine and I didn't use it as much as I would have liked to because I was new to that CTE position, trying to learn the curriculum then and getting into it. But now that I'm in this position, I have been able to see, especially through these school closures and the brunt of COVID, that learning.com was a gold mine for these CTE teachers. I think, you know, once we introduced it to them, they quickly jumped on board and they were able to go ahead and have a guide to a curriculum that they could use not only remotely, but also face-to-face. And what they really liked about it is the structure and like the direct correlation with the standards that they had to teach without it being platform agnostic, meaning, you know, we as teachers, and when I was there also, I was teaching Microsoft. While I'm teaching Microsoft in my classes, they were going to their core classes and they were using Google. So I like it, and the teachers like that the program kind of bridges that gap and not specific to one brand of programming. And some of our schools have K-5 computer resources, and I had the privilege of being a K-5 computer teacher as well. And a lot of times that's our TAs that are in that position. So there's not really a defined curriculum that they had to follow. And sometimes that's difficult to go into a position and not have a guide. So TechQuest has been great for this resource classes. It's provided them with like a defined curriculum for each grade level. I think that it's robust and it addresses all the areas of digital literacy, which is what they're required to have each year. It doesn't just focus on keyboarding or just cyberbullying. I know that I did keyboard and typing.com, you know, this is just the whole package. And now with remote learning, I think schools are realizing how critical, we know that digital literacy is critical right now. And offering these computer resources and now considering adding the resource with learning.com for next year, that's just great for them. And since learning.com has that keyboarding feature, that adaptive keyboard and instruction, now the K-5 students, I know as a 6th grade keyboarding teacher, I was starting from the beginning with them because they really didn't have a curriculum. They went by getting them ready for these classes. So it was just nice to know that these K-5 kids are going to have some experience before they come to middle school to get that keyboarding and that like word processing instruction. Just dabble in it a little bit before they get there. And they're able to provide like a seamless instruction throughout the year, no matter if you're plan A, B, or C, it just kind of works. And the pacing guides and the curriculum maps by grade level, also the sequencing options, teachers were able to customize and assign activities without worrying about how it's overlapping. See, that's what I had to figure that out in CT. I was like, okay, I can't teach this again. I have to build on that. I love how, and teachers do too, love how that builds on each other throughout the grade levels. Also during remote learning, teachers, they've struggled with obtaining like formative assessment data, and this auto scoring and the pre and post assessments built into learning.com has been a great thing for teachers so they could, utilize that data. And I think it has some teacher accountability there. I know that TechQuest is nice because it kind of goes and leads them through without you having to do much work. But I like that they have those teacher graded assignments and those discussions and projects and reflections so that teachers have some accountability. They can see what the students are doing and be involved in the students and actually respond. So that's been the great things that have been happening with Learn.com in our district. And Learn.com, because it provides those pre and post assessments, it's been useful in monitoring the students and learning remotely, hybridly, face-to-face. It's just been great. And I'm going to hand it back over to Lindsay to talk about our digital citizenship and SIPA requirements.
This is where I think we have learning.com has been a huge help for our digital learning and media coordinators. This year, they have been just swamped with technology. Very similar to Jody, we were rolling out a one-to-one and all of the different learning management systems this year, Canvas and Google Classroom, trying to balance those. And so our digital learning and media coordinators have really been swamped and bogged down with that technology aspect of this year. And so, in the past years, they were the ones that were solely responsible for maintaining our logs and records for SIPA requirement. And they provided that basic instruction on internet safety, while of course encouraging and promoting teachers to use to provide that instruction all throughout the year in the core classroom. But they had that burden on them. And so this year, Learning.com has been a blessing in that aspect, is that they've always used Common Sense Media. And so now that Common Sense Media is built into Learning.com, it has made this job so much easier for our media coordinators. And it's actually kind of been twofold. Our digital learning and media coordinators are scheduling the activities for the teachers. So they log in as the school administrator and schedule the activities for the teachers in the homeroom. And then the teachers go in and have their kids do it. So not only are the, even though they're scheduling for our teachers, it's providing the general education classroom teachers with the opportunity to see it in action. That's probably one of our biggest challenges that we've faced so far, is getting the core curriculum, the general ed teachers, to buy in on how to incorporate it into their classroom, especially this year where they all feel that they have lost so much instructional time with being remote. So they're just a bit hesitant about giving up any more time for learning.com. But by using this for our SIPA requirements and internet safety, it is allowing them to see how easy it is, how engaging it is. And also they're feeling and they're realizing this year just how important these digital literacy skills are. I think this year more than they ever have before. And so it's allowing them that opportunity to get the buy-in. Plus, Learning.com has that SIPA report that we can print. It makes our logs and record keeping a lot easier. So that's been a huge plus for us in that aspect. Some of our other challenges is just getting past the routines, like Jan mentioned, is, some of our CTE teachers have been in that role for quite some time. So getting them to try something new. But like Jody said, it is super easy, super simple. And once they get in, they really fall in love with it. It's just getting them to take that jump into it. For us, there is an integration with Canvas and Google Classroom. We just need to spend a little bit more time looking into that integration and just to know it better. So that's kind of a challenge and a task that we want to focus on for this summer and in preparation for next year. And then also juggling the old platform versus the new experience, teacher experience. That's always, a challenge when there's something new, but the new is great. And our teachers are embracing the new. So we're ready to see that transition there. But overall, Duplin County, we are thankful for the Tier 1 funding. We hope that continues because there's just a huge need for teaching our children these digital literacy skills, and this platform is the perfect tool to help us do that.
Thank you, Lindsay and Jan, so much for sharing that. Does anyone have any questions for Lindsay or Jan about Duplin County schools and their work with learning.com?
This is Georgia. I just want again thank Lindsay and Jan both for sharing with us how you are using it. I was going to ask you, since you all have been using it the longest, have you tried the latest one? The was the co-teaching, isn't it correct?
The co-teacher abilities. Have
Yeah, the
y'all
co-teacher
used that feature
abilities.
yet?
We have used it with a few. We've had some like long-term sub situations. So we have used the co-teaching in that aspect. And so that's been a very nice feature.
Oh, good, good. That's good.
And I know that you guys have mentioned too about, I know both Cumberland and Duplin County schools have mentioned TechQuest a few times, and also pairing it with manually assigned curriculum as well. And for you guys that are new on the line on or joining us today, you may not know what TechQuest is, and that was new this year. TechQuest was a new online student resource from learning.com, and it was completely a student-led experience, and that was for grades K through 8, and those were all grade appropriate paths of auto-scored content. So that was a sequence of content that students were really expected to work through, and they could earn stars for lessons completed. They earned like little certificates along the way. But what that did was that allowed for that barrier to be broken down between, the teacher didn't have to assign content any longer. They could put their student on a grade appropriate path of TechQuest, the TechQuest pathway of the content. And it always started with online safety and digital citizenship. But both Duplin County and Cumberland County, they are using manually assigned curriculum when it's appropriate as well. So the teachers have options. They can put their students on this gamified, well, all paths are gamified now, but they could put them on the TechQuest path, or the teacher can choose to assign curriculum manually. And I did see where Duplin County is our leader in assigning common sense education as well. So I know they've been in there using the common sense education lessons, which they brought up, and that can be a manually assigned as well. So just wanted everybody to kind of know, if you're new to learning.com or just listening in today, that TechQuest was something new this year. And it really has taken off in not only North Carolina, but South Carolina, across the nation, with making it just a little bit easier for teachers, right, to get their students started in working towards their digital skills, working towards those essential digital skills, especially in a remote, hybrid, or any kind of learning environment, right? So thank you for sharing that, because I love to hear that you guys have also used it both ways. But just want to explain kind of a little bit what TechQuest was. So any questions for Duplin before we move on? Thank you so much again for sharing that.
I just have a quick question. We're in a weird place because we're in implementation mode right here at the end of the school year just to get our masses moving with learning.com. Hopefully we'll get the licenses we request for next year. Any advice after implementation? I know I saw your challenges with your teacher buy-in. Right now, I'm planning on pushing it through our media coordinators. And I know you said that they do some of the assignments. Can the classroom teacher and the media coordinator work in tandem inside learning.com? So if I'm the media coordinator, I set XYZ lessons, but then the classroom teacher could say, hey, I want to add these 2 lessons. So do y'all do that, or is it strictly just your media coordinators pushing it out?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, our reason for doing that is kind of the same thing you're thinking is our media coordinators are the ones that can really monitor the usage and really push and sell it at the schools as things come up and as they're having conversations with teachers. So really what our media coordinators are doing when they go into learning.com, they're actually going in and emulating the teacher and assigning the curriculum for the teachers. And the only reason we had them do that was just to take one step off the teachers, like one less thing for the teachers to have to do.
Sure.
But once they get going, the teacher can go in and add, because they're really just emulating the teacher. So the teachers can go in and customize it any way they need to.
Yeah, because what I was thinking about doing is giving them almost like a template with, lessons to assign even by month for when we get started, just to kind of give everybody a bit of a guide. Because there's a lot of stuff for those of you who haven't used learn.com. There's a lot of resources in there. And so I could see how people could get swirled around, and so for our ones that are just learning, just to kind of point them in the right direction. So we're kind of thinking about doing that. I've talked to a couple of our school coordinators. They think it would be a good idea. Again, starting out the school year, we won't know exactly where we be. We hope we're going to be at least where we are now. But I appreciate it. The things you talked about haven't even crossed our plate yet because, like I said, we're still in implementation mode. So I appreciate that information.
And Jody, I was going to add, you might want to start too with the scope and sequence too, because you can in the Google spreadsheet, and it's located on our support website, but you can download that and edit it and take out what you want, use what you want. And I don't know if Duplin County's looked at that lately, or maybe that was a tactic they used too, but you can always refer back to our scope and sequence. And also, if you ever want to look and see what lessons are in TechQuest as well, we have a spreadsheet with those lessons as well. If you wanted to create something manually to extend that learning, you can do that, by looking at that and then assign curriculum that way. But the scope and sequence is very helpful as well if you want to get started.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And that's really what our media coordinators looked at, is they looked at what was provided in TechQuest and the scope and sequence and tried to decide which activities they wanted to have come in what order and how they wanted to present it per grade level.
Great. All right. Well, thank you so much, you guys, for sharing. I really appreciate that. And if we don't have any other questions, we'll move on, but I'll pause there for any other questions that you may have, those of you that are joining us. Anyone have any questions for Duplin County Schools or Cumberland? Okay, I think we're good to go. If you think of something, let us know. And so we'll keep on going. We'll keep moving, right? Okay. So as I was mentioning it earlier, when we're transitioning into the year, looks a lot different for learning.com versus some other software you might be used to using products. There's not much you have to do, but there are things you want to consider. And I will be sending out a communication very soon about things you want to consider when you're transitioning school years. Now, what I have done on this slide, I have linked out to our support site that talks about maybe some reports and roster changes. Now, there's not going to be much for you guys to do, especially if you're a sync district. So if you are using Clever or ClassLink, you know, with those roster changes, that's going to take care of that. Okay, so you're not going to have to do the manual uploads, excuse me, at the beginning of the school year to get your students in there. But I did want to include this information, and again, this is linked in the slide presentation, but just some reports you may want to think about, like coordinator reports. Maybe you want to print out one of those district activity reports, which we're going to look at here shortly. You know, also like teachers, you know, teachers have their own set of reports as well. So if they want to look at some grade book reports or student detail reports, they can do that as well. But again, the roster and class changes, not much to do with that, with especially if you're a sync district. Of course, all those roster changes will be done in Power School, and then in turn will be sent to learning.com. And then the biggest one, now I don't have, well, I'm not going to say that. I do have districts that are still going through the manual process where they manage all their users, their educators and their students through the user import tool. So they import their users each time. So that does require a little more work. But if you're interested in using Clever or ClassLink, most of my users in North Carolina do use Clever if they use syncing. So I do have a lot that use that. But if you're not doing that, there is a few things you will need to do as a coordinator to make sure your users are updated for the new school year. Okay, those lesson scores do move with the students from year to year. They stick with that student, okay? However, you can have the option of transferring scores from class to class, okay? So there is also a little web page here, click here, that talks about that process of importing those student scores. But the lesson scores are attached to that student, okay? And there's more information about that. Remember, students can redo lessons, even if that score is also there and is visible. The teacher can assign that lesson and they can redo. Okay, so just wanted to just some few reminders as we're moving into the transitioning into the new school year. And I will also send this out in a communication, maybe add some more tips and tricks and things to maybe look for. But one thing to know, if you want to move to using Clever ClassLink, so you do not have to do the manually rostering, please let me know and we can go ahead and get that, you know, started or plan for next year, right? Okay. All right. And I just said too, it's not too early to plan, as you know, for next year. I know that you guys have already started planning for next year, and fingers crossed we have more of a normal year, a school year. But last year, I reached out to you guys a little later than I wanted to, but to plan for the school year. And I called those my success planning meetings. So I would love, whenever you guys are ready to start planning for next year, we get the ball rolling and plan for some PD days or whatever you need and just really talk about your district technology goals going into the next school year. So watch out for an email I will be sending out to invite you to one of those planning meetings. But if you're ready to plan now, I'm ready to plan with you. Okay, so I'm very excited to share with you some new features and updates, and I am going to do a demo as well, because you may have not seen this. But last home base meetup in February, you learned about Learning.com's work towards learning paths. And with that, grades 3 through 5 content, it is currently being updated. And these learning paths include introductory videos to that unit. We have the skills checks in there. We have vocabulary instructional videos, vocabulary practices, the actual instructional video with the content and more. So the first skill area that is well underway is online safety and digital citizenship. So an update, information literacy for grades 3 through 5. They have been released in English, so they are now in your learning.com curriculum. The online safety intro video and cyberbullying will be released very, very soon. Okay. Now these learning paths that include all these different learning objects I just talked about, the vocabulary practice and instructional videos, they're going to be continued to be added on a rolling basis. So we are just rolling this out. Like I said, right now they are working on, the focus is online safety and digital citizenship, that unit of study. Okay. And I'm going to show you an update here in just a minute, just in case you haven't seen the one on information literacy. Is quite good, and I wanted you guys to have the opportunity to see that just in case. So right now, when I'm speaking, I see just a few people on camera. Duplin County, I see you. Have you guys seen, shake your head, yes or no? Have y'all seen the information literacy videos yet? That were
I
just
actually just noticed it when I
okay.
was getting ready for this, but I did not go into it. But I am interested in looking at it and see
Okay.
what's going on with that.
So great. Yeah, and that's fine because those are new, but those are finished for grades 3 through 5. The next process will get to be translated in Spanish, and those are coming very soon as well. Okay. And then before I show you that demo, the Teacher Center, this is what the new teacher experience, the TXP, is now called the Teacher Center. I'm guilty. I still call it the new teacher experience all the time, but we are trying to flip that flip that language and also update everything to say the Teacher Center. So the new teacher experience is now called the Teacher Center. And so moving forward, any new videos in the training center that we started a little bit ago will match the functionality in the teacher center. So those new training videos will be available July 1st. So we are working hard to updating those because like Duplin County said, some of their teachers are working in what we call the old platform, and some are working in the new teacher center or new teacher experience right now. And both are fine. You can work in either one of them, okay? But we are working on updating our videos. And just so you know, there is really no cutoff date or cut over date for the new teacher center. Your district can decide when they want to move over. Like I said, we're working on updating our PD to reflect that. But it's just an effort in to simplify, and we had some feedback from some teachers about some updates needed to be made, and so any new users that, let's say you've never logged into learning.com, you will be put into the new teacher center. So if you've never logged into learning.com, you will be automatically put into the new teacher center. However, you can always get to the original platform, and I can show you how to do that, but just letting you know that's being updated. And then the Knowledge Center, I don't know how many of you guys noticed this, but those of you that have been in learning.com for quite a while, when new updates or notifications would come up, we used to have just a pop-up that would pop up and you would click OK. Well, now we have the Knowledge Center, and that's a little graduation cap on the bottom right hand of your screen, and you can see notifications and more information on the latest platform features there. And I will be I'll show you that too when we're in there. So it'll have a little notification. You can see this one says I got 5 notifications, and that's just to highlight some new features, like co-teacher capability was highlighted for teachers just recently. And I think I saw a question flash on my screen, if I could pull it up. What is the end of life on the old experience? That's a great question. We do not have a date yet. So there's no end of life yet. Like I said, we are still working on everything's fully functional. There's no problem with that. It's just we don't have an end of life with that. And I know that a lot of other products, have like a sunset date. We don't have that yet. So as soon as I know, I'll share it out to you. But I do hope in North Carolina, just so you don't think that you're not, nobody's behind or anything like that. Nobody in North Carolina that I know of has been trained in the new teacher center. That's why we're updating those videos as well. But if you needed a separate training, said, hey, I just need a refresher, Easy Check refresher, that's included in that training coming up for the new school year. Okay. All right. So again, underway, grades 3 through 5 content. Those of you that were not in our February home-based meetup, you may have not seen this before, but this is what we're working on updating. And right now our focus is on online safety and digital citizenship. And then we have computer fundamentals, internet usage, and online communication to follow. All right. So what I want to do right now is I promise to go in and share with you the new information literacy lessons. Now I'm in a demo site, so my Bean City School District, and this is a demo. This is what a coordinator would see, those of you that are not familiar. And I'm going to go into the teacher portal. So I'm clicking on to the right side where it says teacher portal. Now, this is the old platform. Those of you, I say old platform, this is the original platform. Let me use it correctly. This is the platform that most of our users, if not the majority of our users in North Carolina, they are in this platform. Now, if you wanted to go to the new platform, the new teacher center, new teacher experience, you would click just on the right hand side, and this is what that looks like. Okay, and your classes, the interface is just, to me, it's just a reworking of the library. The search functionality is better. And again, we took feedback from teachers to really develop this new teacher interface. But once you're here, you can always go back to your account and return to original platform. And I'm going to stay in there today, since that's what most of us are familiar with. So here we go. We're going to do our library. And this is, again, this is the demo. And to find those new online safety and digital citizenship lessons, or the unit, we're going to go by digital skill. And we're going to click on this tile, online safety and digital citizenship. Those of you that are new, this is our Easy Tech curriculum by digital skills. So here are our digital skills, our tiles. And this is Common Sense Education has its own tile here. All right. So like I said, this is for grades 3 through 5. So I'm going to just go ahead and click on grade level 3 view. And I'm going to scroll down, and you can see where it says information literacy and vocabulary instruction. All right, so these are our new information literacy. These are all new, okay? These are our learning objects that are new for that unit. So if ever you want to go in and view something before you assign it, you would just click view. So what I want to do is I want to just click on this lesson, information literacy, Mia seeks the truth. And it'll tell you all about this video. Animated video. Mia, a self-described truth seeker, introduces the learner to information literacy through an experience surrounding fact and opinion. So what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make sure, I want to make sure you guys hear the sound. If not, I'll stop sharing and be right back. But I'll just need a thumbs up if you can hear the sound. If not, I know how to do it now. So. All right, so this is one of our new lessons. And I also want to say before I press play, actually, I'm not going to say anything else. I just want to press play, and then I'll talk. All right, let me know if you hear it. No? Okay. Don't worry, I know what to do. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Just give me 1 minute. We practiced this earlier. I'm going to stop sharing. Give me 1 minute. All right. All right, now you should see my screen again, and we're going to try this again.
Murphy's a good dog. Some, like me, might say he's the best. Everyone in Bean City loves Murphy. So, it was the shock of a lifetime when Opal McDowell posted a harsh review of his new biscuit, which is rough because Opal has influence. When she talks, people listen, and Opal loves to share her opinions. Biscuit, more like nix it. Murphy's new biscuit should cut the special ingredient and add tastiness. I hear Murphy's voice coming from an interview playing on TV. The recipe was passed down to me from the old baker. It was the dog family favorite for years. I made a few tweaks to make it my own, but the peanut butter has always been a main ingredient. It's high in protein and so tasty. I got lots of feedback on the recipe, and I'm proud of the high-quality biscuits we make. Ping! I get a message from my friend Sal. Did you hear about Murph? He's the talk of the town. It's all anyone is posting about. I see Joey Braga's post. Murphy, a baker? I've never even seen him ride a scooter. How could he be a baker? That's a no won't try from me. Follow the basics, Murph, like scootin'. Scoot that negativity to the trash, JB. What does riding a scooter have to do with baking? That doesn't make sense. And Darla writes, peanut butter and berries? Yes, please. There's another flavor in there that I can't put my dew claw on, but this is a real treat. Opal doesn't know what she's talking about. That's it. How can the town be so divided? I'm getting to the bottom of this. I grab my notepad of truth and dash out the door. I ask Joe, and I ask Donovan, and I ask Zoe, and I ask Dee. Have you tried the Hometown Cafe's new recipe? How does it rank? Please be honest. I'm seeking the truth. I ask everyone in Bean City. It's a tie. They either don't want to try the biscuit or they love it. That's the power Opal has. She shares her opinion and people take it as fact. I've spent a lot of time training in information literacy. That way I know how to evaluate information. The first thing you need to do when you read or hear something is figure out if that person is stating a fact or their opinion. A lot of folks in Bean City must have forgotten to do this. Maybe it's because they trust Opal so much that they forget that she's just someone with opinions. Here are the facts I know. Murphy is a dog and baker in Bean City. He adds peanut butter to his biscuit.
Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. So you guys, I just wanted to give you just a preview about that, and I think that that video is about 5 minutes or so long. So what do you think? Do you understand that that's really the instructional part, right? So it tells the story of Mia. She's seeking the truth, and then it's talking about fact and opinion with information literacy. Um, so, and I want to, what I was going to say before I started the video as well is that our team is really at learning.com. We've been really not only trying to focus on digital skills development, right? This is very important. Information literacy is a very important part of online safety. We would all agree to that. But we're also including things like social emotional learning as well, because our development team and what we feel is very important. We want to make sure these stories that you just saw, some of it, and the experiences, these characters are all relatable, and so the students can really feel connected, right? So you're going to just see all this new content that is really going to focus on including social emotional learning, and you're going to see a lot of new characters too. Our developers have been coming up with Mia's new. There's more coming out. We get, it's kind of fun at learning.com. We kind of get to vote on them and name them, and so there's a lot more new characters coming. But so what did you guys think? If you want to put it in the chat, you know, that looks a little different, right? Than some of the other lessons that you're accustomed to. We do have not only that, that was the instructional video. But we also have, again, those other learning objects. We're going to be the vocabulary. You saw that it said fact and opinion. It was going through that. But there's also vocabulary introduction video as well. So before they even get to that video, there is just a little video that goes over the vocabulary that they're going to see in that instructional video. And let me see if it'll pop up. So again, here we go.
Vocabulary.
It's very quick.
Information literacy means knowing what information you need, finding it, and deciding if it is good information or not. Opinion.
So you can see it just goes through those
What you
vocabulary
think or
words.
feel about
And so
something.
they'll be familiar with the
A
language
fact is something that is
using.
known or proven to be true. Interview. Meeting at which people talk to each other in order to ask
All right.
questions and get information.
Excellent. All right. And then also there's practice as well. So fact and opinion practice that goes along with the information literacy. Okay, some drag and drop. So again, read each sentence on the right, decide if it's fact or opinion, and you drag and drop. Okay, so again, then practicing to see if the students have really comprehended what it means to be fact and opinion. How have they been able to learn how to decipher that information? All right, any comments with that? And again, you can go into 4th grade. We are doing things more with the feedback too was by grade level. So you're going to see a different video for 4th grade. All right. So there's one called Murphy's Bakery Blues. All right. They also have a vocabulary intro and practice as well that goes along with that. And again, you can always click on that curriculum item to get more information and also view it before you assign. So this is 4th grade, and this is just the vocabulary for the 4th grade. But any questions? And this vocabulary,
Vocabulary.
again, another little
Information literacy means knowing what information you
video
need.
to introduce the video or the vocabulary that will be relevant to that student video. Any questions or comments? All right. So if you haven't gone in there and seen that, again, go check it out. There are more objects in there. And again, these are being released on a rolling basis. So, look, we have a lot more to go, but next up will be the cyberbullying intro video, as well as excuse me, the online safety intro video and cyberbullying. And I saw a preview of that yesterday, and it's awesome. So I know it's coming soon. All right. Okay, so now we're at the district activity report. And this was just a report that has really, I guess, changed. I know that back in December, I think it was, we had the first iteration of the district activity report, and now it's evolved into to something really amazing. And I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of this report, where to find it. I know that Jody from Cumberland County, she uses this quite frequently just to get a quick check on how her schools are doing. So I just want to make sure that you know how to get to this information, because the district activity report is really a great way to see just that overall usage. So if you are a district coordinator or a school coordinator, so a district coordinator would see all the schools, all right, that they're assigned to, and then a school coordinator would have access to all the schools that they're assigned to. So usually that might be 1 or 2 schools, right? So a lot of, I know, media coordinators have the role of a school coordinator, and that's fine if you want them to have the ability to see, of course, your school usage, that's appropriate, right? So also with the district activity report, you can drill down for more details. So if your school is using those manually assigned curriculum items, you're going to be able to click on the school and see what teachers are manually assigning that curriculum, how many launches, and so forth. So I did link out the how-to document here. Just a how-to, this is how you use the district activity report, how to get there as well. So that is in your slide deck. But what I wanted to do is show you exactly how to get there, just in case. And I mean, how many of you have actually used the district activity report? Have some of you used that already? Let me go ahead and, because I think it was first released in December, and then we have done some a few updates to it since then. All right, so I'm logging in. This is a demo website as a reminder. For a district, I'm a district coordinator. I'm going to, here's my menu, but I'm going to go to reports. We have the district activity report and the SIPA compliance, and that's the one that Duplin County was talking about. But the district activity report, you click on it, and then it should take a few, just a few seconds to think. Depends on your district as well. All right. So let's look at this together. So again, this is overall district activity for the schools that you serve. It does include not only your active students, but what's really cool is that it does include Tech Quest launches now. It also includes anything that your teachers assigned. So you can look at it between certain dates. It will default for the school year, and learning.com recognizes the school year as starting as 8/1, but you can adjust this as well. So you can adjust these, and you can just click report and get the report, and it'll update on your screen. You can also print the report as well. But just for the sake of time, I want to show you overall district activity. So you would see your district name here. So if you're Cumberland County Schools, you would see it here. You would see active students, how many Tech Quest launches, teacher assigned launches, and total launches. What's neat about the activity by skill, you can just hover over that to see more details here for Tech Quest and teacher assigned and total launches. So you can see those top skill areas here. So for this demo district is online safety and digital citizenship. All right. Same thing with teacher assigned launches and total. And then you keep on scrolling down. Again, it's going to highlight the skill areas. So all those details, but activity by school. So activity by school, if you see, when you see your school names that you have access to, if it is highlighted in blue, that means, of course, it's clickable, but that means that there are teacher assigned launches. So you can click in, you can drill down for more detail by clicking on that highlighted school, and it will show you more information regarding that school and show you the teacher names. So again, you're not going to have it highlighted if you've only used TechQuest, okay? This is going to be for any schools that have decided to use manually assigned curriculum, okay? All right. So we can see Mr. Owl, no teacher assigned launches here, but we have a couple right here. Jennifer Lively, of course, this is all, demo data. And then just wanted to show you here, you can see, again, you won't be highlighted if you use just TechQuest. This works if you have teachers that are assigning curriculum, all right, the curriculum items, okay? All right, you can print this report as well. You can go back to all schools. And what I like here, you can export the school activity to a CSV file. So if you need to export that information, it'll put it in a nice CSV file, and if you need to manipulate that data, and have that to show, let's say, principals or administrators at your district level, you can do so, and it'll just download for you. Okay. And I said examples of how to use this, very easy. It's used just to see a quick way. You can see the high and the low usage. Leverage that data. So, if you see that a a school is, let's say they've been trained and you see that they're struggling, you know, how can you support those educators? Or, you know, do you have champions in your district? You know, do you have these schools that are really knocking it out of the park, and maybe you need their help to be those champions and to highlight what they're doing, and maybe have some kind of collaborative experience with other schools, right? And then just that quick information I put to support their professional learning goals as well. So maybe there's some lack of or a gap in digital skills instruction that needs to be had, right? Um, Anyone want to comment, or you can unmute yourself if you've used this report. I would love to hear from you guys. I know Jody, hate to call you out, but I know Jody has used this report a lot. But any others that have used this?
Tiffany, you know, I go in that thing almost every day, several
I know.
times a day, especially during this implementation. We'll reach out to schools that have been a little slower to move. And I'm like, hey, I got a meeting on the 28th. I need y'all to get in there and get going. And so I've been popping in there on a regular. And we have had to, dig into some of the other reports. I want to learn more about other reports, but this report has been my best friend. So it gives you a lot of information. You can change the date ranges, which I love, so I can see, okay, we had this meeting last week. Let's see what the usage has been just in the last week. So anyway, I really like this one. It's easy to use.
Great. That's good. That's good feedback. Great. And I love that you can also just see quickly the skill areas, right? The high skill areas. What are they actually assigning, right? What are the students actually working on, right? So, not only launches, but you can see exactly what skills your students are working on. All right. Any questions about that report? And I think moving forward, we will continue to do more training on reporting. We've had some questions on the SIPA reports, and we do have on our support website, we have a lot of information about the SIPA report as well. And I know Duplin County said they use that. All right. Okay, so something new. I wanted to at least share with you guys that learning.com has created for summer our summer learning program. Okay, so let me I think I had a little flyer to share too. So give me 1 minute if I can get it up. And I may not. Okay, I'll look for it. So while I'm trying to multitask here, so we do have two curated learning tracks, and this is for those of you that may be interested in summer school, some summer sequences that you may want to entertain. And there's two different ones, and there's distinct differences between them both. So the summer sequence, we have summer sequence and summer camp. Okay, so the summer sequence is going to be great for asynchronous summer learning. Okay, because that's going to be auto scored content, and they are banded K2, 3, 5, and 6A. And I do have a example to share with you. I'm looking it up on my other screen to share with you. But the summer sequences are going to be great for more of like a hands-off experience, just auto score content. Okay. It's going to have lessons. It's going to have like adaptive keyboarding, also for grades 3 through 5. So this is great for take-home summer learning with like I said, a very light lift from your teachers. Okay. So we also have summer camps as well. So the summer camp will be more of a project-based model. with lesson plans for teachers, okay? So that's going to include lessons with computer fundamentals, business applications, coding, and so forth. There are going to be some both online and offline practice components. So that means that's why I said it's more of a teacher facilitated track, if you will. There is also I should mention with a summer camp, there is a career and completion certificate for students once they complete. And this is really great for synchronous summer learning, or maybe you guys have a summer learning enrichment program. Maybe something you're looking for something different to do over the summer, and maybe you want to engage your learners in coding. But those are grade banded as well. We've got K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8. So I'm going to click on this little flyer here because I want you guys to at least, if you're interested, I don't know how many of you on our webinar today have summer school plans. But I wanted to let you know that we have created this. This is included in learning.com subscription, so there is no extra charge for this. This is something that we just created to help hopefully continue digital literacy skills throughout the summer. So if you're looking for something fun for your students to do, we do have those two options, and it goes a little more into detail about this and talks about the different summer camp options and then student-led sequences, and that's your auto scored. And please remember too, again, your subscriptions don't end, so you still can have your students, let's say you don't really want to go this route, your students can continue to work in TechQuest as well. So those of you that are really loving TechQuest and your students are like, hey, can I do this at home over the summer? Absolutely. So if you're interested in something like this, you can let me know. I am going to send out more information through email about this. So more information to come. But just want to let you know, and I was going to show you too. I did find it as I was talking right here. This is the sequence. So basically you would assign the sequence and this is K2. This might be really small for you. Here we go. This is for K2. And then you also have a parent letter you can share, a parent letter in English and Spanish if this is something you're interested to do to introduce them to this. And then, of course, it will have the units. And, of course, you know that you can take out what you do not want or do not need and make this your own. But this is banded K2, 3, 5, and 6, 8. So and it shows you the lesson, the minutes, everything's there for you. And this is the sequence we have created. And then as far as the summer camps, what that would look like, just quickly, this is for 6-8. So it would be, this information would be given to your teachers, and it would have the description, what skill focus this would be. So this is computational thinking and coding and spreadsheets. And then it goes through the time. So this would take about 10 hours to complete. And again, this is already in your learning.com curriculum, but we have just curated these resources for you and have put it in a nice little package for you. So again, if this is something maybe you're interested in, contact me. It's ready to go, but I am going to send out a communication regarding summer learning programs. So it is ready to go. This one has lesson plans, vocabulary, and so forth.
Tiffany, can you add that link to the chat for the summer sequence?
So I think I can. Other than that, I can add this link. I know I can do it for the flyer because that other one's an internal document.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and add that, and
Okay.
then I will figure out how to get everything else out.
You show okay. And
Yep.
someone was asking.
Oh, someone was asking where they can get these documents, I think. Can y'all hear me? I just lost Audrey.
I accidentally hit. And then
Okay.
also, yeah, I'm
Very good.
sorry. And also somebody, Brandon wants to know how to get to the tech quiz. She doesn't know
Uh,
where to go to get to the tech quiz.
Okay, so that question came from Brandy. Is that what you
Brandy.
said? Yes.
Uh-huh.
So TechQuest, as soon as your teachers, excuse me, as soon as your students log into learning.com, they will have the option to use TechQuest. If your teachers have not assigned any manually assigned curriculum, then they will only have the option of TechQuest. Now that means that your students have to be rostered, okay, to get started in TechQuest. But as long as they have their login information, they are put in their grade specific path. So your students again will need not only a login, but they will have to be assigned a grade level. And we can take that offline if you have more questions about TechQuest, Brandy. But yes, your students are already automatically assigned to that TechQuest path as long as they have their login. And they're rostered.
And Tiffany, can I ask you a question about summer learning if we use this? So I understand that if we're in, so when Power Schools goes down at the end of the year, we'll, like we use Clever for rostering. Will it hold their current allotments and then twofold, we're thinking that we can, I know we can roster with CSVs through Clever. If we do that, then we could use that in learning.com and then just reset up in the fall. Is that, am I thinking
I
about that
think
correctly?
I think so, Lindsay. May want to send that to me in an email so I can think about that for a minute. I don't think you'll have a problem there with I'm thinking about the Clever piece. Making sure they can maybe send that to me in email so I can double check, Lindsay.
Will do.
Yeah,
I have
that's
a
a great
question,
question.
Tiffany.
Mhm.
So if we get licenses added for next year, we would only have the licenses we have now through June 30. And then potentially our new licenses would kick in July 1? Or is it going to be later than that?
I can say at least last year, we did not cut off any kind of access. I may have to like wait to answer that question when we get all the funding stuff straight. But I can tell you that we were committed just to keep your licenses active. And so I may have to defer to DPI on that with the numbers because that's why it's going to be, and I understand what you're saying. That's why it's going to be so important to fill out that intent survey.
Well, see, for summer camps, right?
Right.
That's
And
going
those
to be
that
district
starts
wide.
soon.
I mean, our
Yep.
summer school right now, y'all, like could possibly involve 22,000 children.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So yeah, I have nothing close
Okay.
to that right now with licenses.
Right,
So
right,
I'm
right.
just trying to think, is this even, should we just tell the kids at the schools that use it right now, you can keep using it in the
Okay.
summer, keep using TechQuest, keep using
Right.
it in summer, and just kind of let that go because I don't know how in the world with all the students at different schools being at different summer school sites, like they're not going
Okay.
to be in their own school.
I gotcha.
So
Okay.
Tiffany,
I just wanted to, that kind of complicates stuff.
Brian, I think Brian is that you,
Hey,
Brian?
hey everybody, this is Brian Rose. For those that are existing participants, if you find that you need to add licenses in order to support your students through the summer, and you're intending to indicate back to DPI an enrollment for your K-8 students for next year that exceed your current enrollment levels, we'll figure out a way to get all your kids up and running during the summer.
Okay, thank you. I will add that to the list. Appreciate that,
Absolutely.
Brian.
Thank you, Brian. Brian's my boss, so thank you, Brian.
Well, he's
And
Santa Claus right now. I don't know
He's
about
Santa
y'all,
Claus.
but he's
Thank you,
Santa
Santa
Claus
Claus.
right now.
and Tiffany, let me Randy wants to know, let me just get clarification. Do you know
Yes.
if learning.com could count as an enrichment class for summer learning?
Are you talking about like as I mean, that's up to the district. And maybe they're talking more about like a course. right? Are they talking about,
Um,
is that a DPI question?
That's
Yeah,
one of
that
the,
sounds like
that's
a
one of the requirements for summer learning is an
DPI, yeah.
enrichment.
Is an enrichment. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I know that there are a lot of districts that use us, you know, as an elective or use our program during an elective course during the year.
Mhm.
But it says, yeah, there are state guidelines.
Okay.
And Brian was asking, what is the definition of an enrichment course, you know, for North Carolina? Could this meet the requirement would be the question. Okay. Might have to come
So
back with
I
that one.
think you're gonna take that back and talk to
Yeah, you
Rob
guys
and
are going to
then,
have to,
yeah.
take that back. Yep.
Okay.
All right. Yep. That's definitely a question for leadership, DPI leadership. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. And all right, so we are nearing the end and also the end of our time. That's gone by really quickly. Was there any other questions about summer learning? I just had some reflect and respond. Please feel free to speak up, unmute yourself. You know, we talked a little bit about that district activity report. I know Jody shared out how she uses it. She uses it daily. I just had some questions. You can add them in the chat or you can share. How can your district utilize the learning.com summer learning program, which I've just heard from several of you as well. Anyone else want to share? And again, the summer learning program, everything is packaged, it's ready to go. But I will be sending out information very soon. I'm working on a communication with my team. But if you need to kind of ask more questions, or I said, hey, can you send me that in an email? You feel free to do that. But does anyone want to share out, or anyone need to share out in the chat? I think I can open the chat. All right. Okay. All right. Yes. Can you get a link to the summer school flyer? And I do think I put that in the chat, but I can redo that unless I didn't send it to everyone. Let me get that for you once again. It's also, well, it's also in the presentation too. So if you have the bit.ly to the presentation. Oh, I went too far. You can click on the image right here, the summer learning. This is just a really quick intro. You know, the different tracks that I just explained. And then we have them separated out into what I would say a package. So, but that is in your presentation as well. Okay. All right, and as a reminder, our online training center is there available for use. You only have to use one login, and that's your login through your learning.com credentials. As a reminder, there's self-paced learning. We are working on updating those training videos now to reflect the new teacher center. We have a blog. The blog is very helpful. That is where you can find the district activity report, co-teacher capabilities, any kind of like how-to documents. You know, we do still have our support site, but we have been working on putting everything in one spot and updated information. And then our community forum. So I just want to remind you that you can get all that by going into the online training center. Upcoming webinars. We will have a webinar, and it's going to be offered 2 dates. That's coming up. More details to come. I should have those ready in about a week. But we're going to have a webinar just for Tier 1 districts. So save the date. They're going to be May 11th at 3 p.m. and May 12th at 10 a.m. And about 45 minutes or so. But it will be a great chance for any of those that couldn't attend today. They can learn about the new features and updates. Even if you did attend today, there will be even more new features and updates and new lessons released by then. But we're going to be talking about looking into next year. So I would love for you to save the date for those. More details to come. I'm hoping next week I'll have that scheduled out, but just wanted to keep you informed that those are coming up. All right. And those are for our Tier 1 districts. As a reminder, we do have our North Carolina Digital Learning Standards. I have linked these out also in the slide presentation. But to find those, if you're interested, just as a quick reminder, to find those, if you're in the original platform, you will go to Library, Find by Standard, and Technology Education. And so these standards were adopted gosh, has it been 2 years now, almost a year and a half ago? And they are the standards that were adapted from the ISTE standards. So just to let you know that we do have all those uploaded under North Carolina in our platform, so you can ensure that your teachers are, teaching these standards. All right. And this is really a time for you guys. I think that is all that we had. This is a time to share, to ask questions. Before, I know some of you may have to hop off. We just want to, again, special thanks to our district leaders, Jody, Lindsay, and Jan for presenting today and sharing their learning.com journey with us. But I think what we have left, Audrey, is for any
Yep.
kinds of questions. I've left up the resources we have. If today you're not a Tier 1 district and you don't use learning.com, if you want to learn more about learning.com, you can reach out to me, Tiffany. You can also go to our learning.com webpage. But we have our support page, we have our online training center, and of course, I always like to say for any technical issues, you want to contact our support center. So I'll leave that information there as well. Otherwise, Audrey, I think that's all that
That's
I
it.
had.
Yeah.
So I'll open it up. But thank you so much
Okay.
for attending and your time. Again, I'm going to be sending out information about our summer learning camps, the webinars, and then coming from DPI soon will be that intent survey about learning.com. So if you intend on using learning.com next year, that survey will be used to determine your enrollment, your student licenses for next year. And I know Audrey's working on that.
Yeah. And also I wanted to add here's the I'm putting in the chat. I'm putting in the chat the bit.ly for you to go out to complete for your feedback, to enter your feedback, and also to receive your CEO, is that correct?
The CEU.
CEU. Exactly, to receive your CEU. So I've just placed that information in the chat. And again, she was saying Randy had a question.
Okay.
No, I'm sorry, Audrey. I put a link in there to the Office
okay.
of Learning Recovery and Acceleration
Great.
web
Okay.
page that maybe we can find that definition for enrichment course.
For enrichment. Okay, thanks. Okay. Okay. And as Rob stated, this is our group, Pam Bachelor, Digital Learning Systems. Justin Connor is with Power School Business Manager. Tammy is with Education Product Consultant. Mainly Tammy oversees NESES. Tessa Hahn is Home-Based Professional Learning, and John Myers is also Home-Based Professional Learning. Yolanda Wilson is our education program specialist. She handles all the communication that goes out. Myself, Russell Dixon is user support analyst, and Dr. Carmela Fair is instructional resource consultant, and she also oversees Imagine Math. So again, we appreciate everybody participation today, especially for Cumberland and Duplin. We appreciate all of your input. It meant so much, and I think that it was a great help to everyone that was on the webinar today. So again, we really do appreciate it. And so if anyone, does anyone have any questions? Anything, Cammie, did you want to add anything or?
No, I think this has been a fantastic session. And thank you
Yeah,
guys and all the contributors.
it really
Enjoyed
was,
hearing
yeah,
everybody.
it really was. So if that's all, then if no one has any questions, again, if you have any funding questions, please feel free to reach out to myself, audrey.long@dpi.nc.gov. And again, we put the information for the slides, the slide deck for HBM for this learning.com. We put it in the chat for you as well. But again, if you think of anything later on, please don't hesitate to reach out, either way, email or phone to any one of us. So if that's all, we'll just go ahead and end it for today. And again, I appreciate everyone that's been on this webinar. I appreciate all your attention and everything. Have a good evening.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
guys. Bye.